application. The hearing will be recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law.
All right, go ahead.
Please be advised that this meeting will be broadcast live through the local access cable on Facebook Live, on the public access Facebook page, and will be able to be found on a Lunenburg Public Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. To participate remotely from a computer, go to Zoom meeting, computer, and app users may use the raise hand feature to request to speak. The members present are Board Secretary Lisa Normandin. I'm Jim Bezikoski, Vice Chairman. Hans Winthrop, David Blatt, Tony Nicastro, and Don Gurney. Lisa will read the application and any other submitted communications.
Okay, this is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicant is David Butler, 87 Carriage Court, Apartment 208 in Leominster, Mass. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows. I was previously issued a special permit on July 28th of 2020 to raise and rebuild a home located on 56 Pine Street. Dwelling was removed, however, special permit has expired. The proposed action has begun. The basis for that application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, Section 250-7.4B2. The street address of the property is 56 Pine Street, assesses map 63, parcel 16. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is David Butler, 87 Carriage Court, Apartment 208 in Leominster, Mass. And the deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 9351, page 298, and recorded May 29th of 2019. If the undersigned has any knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case, describe the case and the dates involved. Approved special permit was issued on July 28th of 2020. And it's signed on October 2nd of 2023 by David Butler. This is the same application that was previously, but the text is as follows. The purpose of this letter is to detail to you the request for a special permit under Section 257.4 of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw. This particular section deals with changes to lawful non-conforming existing structures. The subject property is located in the Residence A zoning district, which currently requires 40,000 square feet of land area and frontage of at least 100 feet. The lot in question has 15,086 square feet with 20 feet of frontage. This parcel was created in 1957 as described in the deed that references that said premises are shown on plan of land in Lunenburg, Mass, owned by Donald Adams, Edux, dated May 29th, 1957, Alden S. Marble and Associates, registered engineers and surveyors, prior to the adoption of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw in August of 1960. The existing house has also stood on the property prior to the adoption of the bylaw and is afforded the designation of a lawful pre-existing non-conforming structure as it pertains to Section 257.4 of the bylaw. The accompanying plan number S14949 details the proposed reconstruction of the existing single-family dwelling at 56 Pine Street. The new reconstructed single-family dwelling will be built in approximately the same location as the existing dwelling and will conform to the front, side, and rear property line offset requirements, as well as the height limitations. This proposal does increase the size of the dwelling slightly, but will greatly improve and modernize the living standards commonly built today. According to Section 257.4, reconstruction of a single-family residential non-conforming structure may be allowed upon a determination that the reconstruction meets all current zoning requirements if not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood and does not increase the non-conforming nature of the structure. The bylaw goes on to say that the proposed structure shall be deemed not to increase the non-conforming nature of said structure if the structure is located on a lawfully non-conforming lot and the alteration will not result in new or increased violation of any of the dimensional requirements of the bylaw. With this application, we contend that we have established compliance with these standards. In accordance with the application for special permit, we would also like to address the 4 questions posed in item 12. We offer the following. The proposed construction and function of a new single-family dwelling will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health, nor will it be hazardous because of any traffic congestion, and will not pose a threat for fire or explosion. B, the proposed project will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood. In fact, this upgrade from the existing conditions may have a net positive influence on the value of surrounding properties and amenities. C, the proposed single-family dwelling will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightlines. D, the proposed construction nor the future use of the single-family dwelling will not produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines and amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of any of the adjacent properties. The applicant's efforts in this approval process have included receiving a construction permit to upgrade the sewage disposal system for 3 bedrooms from the Lunenburg Board of Health. In addition, the applicant is proposing to abandon the use of 2 existing private wells and connect to the town water supply available in Pine Street. We respectfully request that you evaluate this submittal for the benefit of the applicant and see fit to grant us a special permit for reconstruction as detailed. Very truly yours, David E. Ross Associates, Incorporated, Neil T. Gorman, Project Manager. There's also a list of abutters, which were all notified 2 weeks prior to this hearing. The deed for the property. And a proposed house plan. And that's all, Mr. Acting Chairman.
The applicant will have the opportunity for comments on the application or submission of additional documents. Please come forward to the mic and give your name and address. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions that they might have on the application while you're at the mic. Seeing as there are none, we will also have a public comment period from Zoom where they can raise their hand. Again, give your name and address and address all comments to the board. Required findings for any special permit: that it will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic flow, congestion, danger of fire, explosion, or other reasons. That it will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood. That it will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in open use. That it will not produce noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. So at this time, we'll open it up and ask if the applicant would like to offer other comments or anything else.
Good evening. I'm David Butler, 87 Carriage Court in Leominster, as Lisa said. The only comment I really have is all I'm looking to do is resubmit permits that have expired. It was already previously approved. With COVID and my wife's illness, things got put aside and the permits expired, and I'm just looking to get them reinstated. No changes whatsoever, other than I'd like it written up that I could transfer if it turns out where building the house myself is undoable. I would like to be able to transfer my permits if I sell the property to someone else.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board or comments?
So I just have the one thing is that, in part of here in the Ross letter, it talks about you're abandoning the 2 wells. Did we make that as a stipulation at all?
Yeah, last time. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it because the wells, bear with me, I'm an old man memory, but is it because the wells were unusable or just because they?
They were going to city or town water, So.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just looking at it as, you know, is there a reason why we made that a you know? Not, I know it's your suggestion.
I think that came from the other board.
From the Board of Health?
Yeah, it didn't come from us.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just was looking at, you know, giving you the option, if the wells were decent, to be able to utilize the well instead of,
Right, the well that my grandfather was using originally was still working before. It's still usable. I just was gonna switch to the city water. That was my idea, to switch to city water.
that was yours?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any other comments from the board?
Yeah, I have a question, Mr. Chairman. So, we approved this back in 2020. When did you tear the building down?
I tore it down right after they gave me the demo permit.
And then
You know, with the
things
beginning
happened.
stages of COVID,
Yeah.
there was nothing we could really do anywhere else, so I was over there demoing that house. You know,
And so nothing's gonna change from what from the, last time we approved it. We had conditions on there, and then obviously we had input from all the boards, various boards saying that you were in compliance. And you continue, you're not changing the plans whatsoever, you're just asking for us to renew the application for another 2 years for you to build the
Yeah,
house.
exactly. The house plans are staying the same, the septic system's staying the same. Everything's the same, nothing's changed.
And
other
just
than-
out of curiosity, is there a reason that you're doing it now versus waiting, or you just want to get it permitted and ready to go again?
I want to get it permitted, ready to go again, so that I have the option to either build, or again, as I asked, I'd like to have the wording put where if it's deemed unfeasible for me to build over there, and I have to sell the property, I'd like to be able to sell the property and have my permits transfer to a new owner, obviously within the time frame of the permits. That's the only change I'd ask for. My wife's illness is taking precedence right now, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to build myself or not.
Any other questions?
In the prior proceedings, Mr. Winthrop asked if you were going to live in the new dwelling, and it was indicated that your grandfather had built the original home, and the plan was to demolish it, construct a new dwelling, and move into it. I understood that to mean your grandfather would move into it.
No, my grandfather built that house in 1957. My
Okay,
grandfather,
so this is just worded
yeah, no, my, right.
confusingly to me.
You had to be here.
I had to be here, I'm sorry.
No, my grandfather built that house in 1957, but it was just, you know, I wanted to modernize, build a new house, and at the time, my plan was, and may still be, to build a house and live there. I just want to have the option where if it turns out that that's not doable for me because of situations that I'm going through at home, if I have to sell the property, I want to be able to do that too. So I'm either going to build on it and live there, or I'm going to sell the property the way it is.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I just have a comment to his request. I don't know if we can condition changing the permits. If we grant you the permit, you know, that's for you. If you decide that you want to sell it, then I think, you know, if you build it and sell it, that's obviously up to you. But I think if you were to then turn around and try to sell it to somebody else, I think they'd have to come back before the board because it's a transfer from you to another person. But that's here nor there. If you're asking for, you know, the application here for a renewal, and then whatever you do with that, I think you'd probably have to come back to board or talk to Lisa, the building commissioner.
I believe you're correct that,
Because the permit goes to
up to
you.
the
I would
person.
imagine if they wanted to build a house different than the ones that I gave you plans for, they would have to come and of course, I don't know anything about this, so I could be wrong, but I would imagine if they wanted to change anything, that they would have to come in front of the zoning board.
That's automatic.
For sure.
What I would like is, you know, I already got, Board of Health permits, approved. I've already got the special permit to build by the zoning board approved, or hopefully tonight will have. I would just want those approvals transferred to a new owner, subject to everything being the same. If he wants any changes in anything that you guys have in writing, then obviously, yeah, he would have to come in front of the zoning board and request your permission to do so.
I believe our zoning law says that it is granted to the person requesting the permit specifically, and if anyone else wants to do something or take other ownership, they have to reapply. Even though the conditions can carry forward, the application has to come for that person.
Can I ask just for a point of clarification? So the idea is that it's been deemed a buildable lot.
Yes.
Correct.
Right, so you can sell it as a buildable lot. It's just that whatever they want to do, they will have to come up to us.
Right.
That's it.
That's what I would think. That's what I was thinking too.
But that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I
It's
just don't
different.
want-
It's different. We're not saying that you can't, they can't just go ahead and build a house there. You're selling it as a buildable lot, but whatever they do, even if it was half the size of it, they'd still have to come to us they still have to come and say, okay, this is what I'm doing.
Okay, so that doesn't tie me up with it being a non-conforming lot. With your approval tonight, I would be selling a buildable lot.
Yes.
And they would still have to come in front of the zoning board just to tell you what they're going to do on that lot,
As a formality.
as a formality.
Right.
Okay,
Based on the plans that you provided and where you were situating the house to meet all the setbacks
Right.
that currently under zoning, even though you have a grandfather lot.
right, I understand. If they want to move the house from here to over there, obviously, they have to come and see you and do so. I just didn't want to be tied up. I just didn't want to be tied up where I can't sell the property because it's non-conforming. If I get your approval tonight, I'll be selling a buildable lot, they can build on it.
Yes.
Come to you with any changes. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
I think it's just a phrasing of which way you want
Right,
it,
right,
how you were phrasing it.
right.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Is there anything on Zoom?
I do not see anybody with their hand raised. It's just the iPad that I can't really make out what's going on. It looks like a fan's going, but.
If not, there aren't any other comments or questions. There's no people present. I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we grant the extension of the special permit.
Second,
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Thank you.
The motion is passed, and I have to read this too. The special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner complies with all licenses, regulations, statutes, and ordinances of any and all applicable law in state and federal boards of agencies or with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with any conditions. Non-compliance to such conditions may result in revocation of this permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. After certification by the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed since the decision was filed, you should have it recorded in the Registry of Deeds. No special permit shall take effect until it has been recorded. This special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use of construction has commenced. And that's it.
Good luck.
Thank you,
Good luck, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
On the other side, too.
thank you,
Good luck.
thank you, thank you.
We'll see you. Take care. You bet. Who's that?
If there are no other questions or comments, I'll ask,
You guys want to make a motion? To adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
any second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Therefore, this meeting is now officially adjourned.